All right, we're here to do a unboxing and review of the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. I'll be honest, I had this thing pre-ordered originally, and then when my Switch came, I thought, you know what, I think I can wait on this. This is not something I have to have right away. And there's no doubt that the Joy-Con 2 controllers are definitely a step up from the ones that came with the original Switch. They're bigger, the buttons are bigger, the joystick's bigger, the stick feels better, the buttons feel better. As a portable device, with the Joy-Cons attached or unattached, as a portable device, the Joy-Con 2s are probably the best controls in a handheld ever. Because they're very close to being like home console quality in a handheld. The keynote there is they're very close to being home console quality. They're still not quite as good as a legit dedicated controller for on the TV plugged in home console gaming. And really, it was Cyberpunk 2077 that made me realize I need to stop being cheap and get it, because it's going to make a lot of games better. That being said, for Mario Kart and Fast Fusion, which are the two other games I got at launch, I'm totally fine with the Joy-Cons. I think they're going to be even better with this probably, but I'm fine with the Joy-Cons. And actually, Cyberpunk's pretty cool with the Joy-Cons because the gyroscope aiming is actually really good. But kind of like it was Breath of the Wild that made me get my original Pro controller, because Breath of the Wild used every button on the controller and just required a lot of manual dexterity. Well, Cyberpunk's the same way. There's uses all the buttons just about, and it requires a lot of precision. And I just decided that for games like that, I just need the Pro controller. So here we go. Not much to say about the box, so let's just open it up. We're going to unbox it, and then I'm actually going to try to test it out a little bit with Cyberpunk. I'll be able to tell a lot just from feeling the buttons and the stick and everything, but I'm actually going to try some gameplay to finish off this review as well. Right. So first we got the cord for charging the controller. I assume you could also use this for charging the Switch 2, which is good because the Switch 2 came with an AC adapter, but not like a separate charging cable. Like if you're on the go and you're not putting it in the dock to charge it. So actually, I believe this would be the same thing. At least that's how it worked for the original Switch. Right. There we go. The nice matte finish everyone's talked about. It just feels very smooth. Like leaves your fingerprints just for a few seconds and kind of goes away. See if I can zoom in a little here. It definitely has a good premium feel to it. It's not heavy. A part of that being because it doesn't have like 4 AA batteries in it, like for example an Xbox Series S or X controller. It's pretty light until you put the 4 batteries in it. This has just a rechargeable battery inside. You also got these G, L, and GR buttons, which I know a lot of people really love. These are nice. Like the feel of those buttons. For a game like Cyberpunk, I might actually map those and use them. Nintendo logo on the back. I definitely like this grayish white accent color they picked. So you got the charging cable up there, the sync button. I assume that just shows the power on. It shows which, if you're player 1, 2, 3, or 4. But more importantly, something the old Pro controller did not have, which it absolutely should have, right here, so you can plug in your headphones. If you just want to have, quiet gaming, or if you're using voice chat. Something the old Pro controller did not have, and it would have made gaming online with my friends so much easier if it had had that. And here's the C button for chat. All right, but let's just go ahead and start. Hey, are the buttons themselves bigger? These buttons look big. Maybe I'm just used to the Joy-Con. These buttons look big to me. Well, they definitely feel good, and I expected them to. Plus and minus. D-pad. Feels pretty good. Like, that's not always a good thing on some controllers, but this one feels pretty good. Oh. Ooh. Whoa. Huh. The sticks do feel different. Oh, yeah, that's going to be nice. The amount of play there is just exceptional. They still click in. These buttons feel good. Everything feels like it should. I would say everything feels like it should and feels premium, but the sticks are like a step past that. The sticks are better than what I've used before as far as how they feel. And I'm about to find out how that translates to control in game. Okay, before we test out some gameplay, I've got a few controllers to compare it to here. Well, here is the original Switch Joy-Con. This is from my OLED model. And just comparing them side by side, the Switch 2 Joy-Con feels significantly better. Like, there's very little travel at all in these. You push it and you're to the edge. I mean, you know if you played it. Again, for an analog stick on a handheld, it was really, really good for that. Now, it takes another step forward and is, I would say, good enough for home use, like for serious gaming, not just for handheld gaming. But then this is a big step up. I mean, the amount of travel, it feels like you have travel for days compared to this, and it just makes a big difference. Like in shooter games where you're having to aim delicately. I mean, look at the amount of travel. It's huge. It's huge, and it's so smooth. This is an Xbox controller, Series S and X. They use the same controller. This is the controller that comes in the box, and this one's only about a month old, give or take. Maybe 6 weeks, something like that. And of course, being a home console controller, you have a lot of travel. I gotta say though, it feels positively loose compared to this. Like there's just there's a level of resistance here, but it's not fighting you. It's encouraging you to explore the full range. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, I don't want to oversell it, but I will say, as someone who's never dabbled in like the $200 Elite controllers, I've only ever used the official controllers that come with systems or third-party controllers that were usually cheaper. But I've used almost every official controller that's ever came with the system, except the PS5. I don't have a PS5. Not opposed to it. I just don't have one. So I've not used the PS5 controller, but I've used every PlayStation controller up until the PS5. I've used every single Xbox controller. That's a standard, like not the Elites, but the standard ones. I think I've used every Nintendo controller, official controller that's ever come out. I used to have a Wavebird. That was one of the best controllers ever. And I gotta say, I don't think I've ever felt a stick that felt quite this good. That's what I'm saying. I've never felt one that felt quite this good. Like these, yeah, feel positively loose by comparison. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, but this just feels better in theory. I mean, it feels like the level of precision here is really going to be something. Now, maybe that's like those super expensive Elite Xbox controllers. Maybe that's closer to what that is. I don't know. This is not a cheap controller. It's $85. I paid $84 at Walmart. But that's not like an Elite controller. That's unfortunately just a premium controller price now. You can comment below. I think these are about $70 now if you don't get them on sale. So it's a little more, but it's certainly not like in the range of Elite pricing. Obviously very similar. Honestly, some people may not want to hear this, but both of these controllers, you can especially see it with the Switch 2 one, really are about 75% Super Nintendo controllers. Super Nintendo, Super Nintendo. Of course, with added triggers and crucially analog sticks. But I have to say, I don't know if, I think maybe the Xbox was the first one to offset the sticks like this. Don't quote me on that. I mean, the GameCube did technically, but the C-Stick was just weird. But this is a comfortable position for me. This works. So I'm glad that the Switch 2 Pro controller follows that. I know PlayStation people probably disagree, but it's whatever you get used to, let's be honest. But I do think this is a great configuration. But basically, the Pro controller is a mix of Nintendo's own history and the Xbox controller, which is a great controller. So let's just test it out. I had Cyberpunk 2077 fired up here. Just my current location. I'm about 2 hours in the game. I'm just kind of walking around right now, so I don't think it's really going to spoil anything. Like I said, I'm only a couple hours in anyways. Let's see here. All right. First time using the controller here. I forget how to put your fist away. I figured it out, now I've forgotten. Oh man, yeah. Yep, you gotta get your Pro controller if you're gonna play games like this. I'll be honest, I was never 100% comfortable with aiming. I probably shouldn't aim at that cop. I was never 100% comfortable with aiming in this game. Until just now with this Pro controller. So jumping, of course, feels good. There's no reason that wouldn't work well. Let's see. Well, I can just restart my save. Why don't we just start some some action here? Let's see. So blocking feels really good with the triggers and punching. Let's see. I don't know what I just did. I think I used something. Oh, let's call the car. That's one thing I love about this game. And I kind of hope GTA brings this feature. You can call for your vehicle. And it'll just show up. There it is. So this will kind of... Oh, I think I just went the wrong way. What I was trying to say is this will be a good test for driving controls too. The stick feels really good for driving, really smooth. This car though, it's your starter car. Actually, it may not be the starter car. It's not the easiest to control. It's not as tight turning as some of the other ones. But yeah, it works. I think the police are already after me. I guess they should be. All units on site, continue searching the area. Okay. Yeah, it works well for controls. I mean, for driving. So let's try some shooting. I don't want to make this too unkid friendly, so we'll not shoot at anybody. Though you certainly can. Let's just pick something. Let's see. Maybe we'll just shoot at a... Well, perhaps predictably, when I started shooting, the F-bomb started flying, and I don't want this to be an explicit video. I was just shooting at signs, but the police still didn't appreciate it. But what I was saying, the driving controls feel great. So I imagine it's going to feel great for Mario Kart and other games. Heck, we'll try it out. This doesn't have to be a short video. Alright. I'm just going to start shooting this car. But the aiming just feels so good with these sticks. That's the bottom line here. It feels so good. This feels really, really good. Like just such good aiming with the controls. I'm so worried about somebody dropping F-bombs now. Anyways, yeah, works really well for this game. 100% what I wanted. The only thing I wouldn't mind trying, but it's going to require stealing a car. Sorry. The only thing I haven't tried is shooting out of the car. Oops, wrong button. How do you do it? Wrong button. How do you do it? Oh, draw weapon. Heh. Can't draw my weapon. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it works well. Okay. Well, why don't we go out of this and just try a little Mario Kart World? That's a little more family friendly. I don't have to worry about what anybody's going to say or do. I mean, at this point, I'm just having fun, so feel free to turn off the video at any time, knowing what you already knew, probably. This is a good controller. This is a really good controller. I gotta be honest with you, Cyberpunk just felt so much better to me. And it comes down to the sticks. I mean, everything else is more than good enough for a game like that on the Joy-Con 2. But once you're used to this kind of play, this kind of travel, this kind of smoothness, even these much improved Joy-Con 2s aren't going to give that. Again, they're perfect to be attached to the system. They're perfect for handheld play. They have all kinds of usefulness. But I think if you're a quote-unquote hardcore gamer, you got to have one of these, you know? For multiplayer, you know, Mario Party and Mario Kart Fest, another pair of Joy-Cons is all you need. Because you've already got two controllers right here. You can have two players on Mario Kart with just one pair of Joy-Cons. But for games like Cyberpunk, for games like Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, if you're playing the new versions of those on this, you're going to want a Pro Controller. Now, you can use your Switch 1 Pro Controller, but mine totally died. It's the only Nintendo controller I've ever had totally die. Something inside just stopped working. And that was years ago, which was very weird. I'm just very unlucky, I feel like. Let's see here. Why don't we just try a quick single player, obviously. Honestly, the versus race is one of my most fun things so far because what am I trying to say? I like the rally kart. Because of the choices you get. Like right here. Let's see. If I wanted to maybe start at Koopa Troopa Beach, I could just do that and we'll do 3 laps on Koopa Troopa Beach, no problem. Or I could do Koopa Troopa Beach to the Spaceport, or to the Crown City, or to the Peach Stadium, Faraway Oasis, etc. Dino Jungle. And I just think that's fun because a lot of the track is going to be kind of new to you because there's so much variety here to take all these paths. Like, you know, you're not just doing 3 laps on one track. You're doing, really, you're only usually doing a little bit here, just a little. Then you're on this. Then you do 1 lap at the destination. Although they're all a little different, it seems like. But let's just try it. Of course, this is not the best way for you to watch Mario Kart World gameplay off of the handheld, off of a phone. So I'll just do enough to confirm to you that it works great with the Switch 2 Pro controller. Oh my goodness, I pressed an R to go. That was dumb. By the way, the water physics in this game are phenomenal. Definitely makes me want a new wave race. And they can just hire the people who did the water physics for Mario Kart World Tour. Or sorry, Mario Kart World. Because they can totally do it. See, now this is not even a track per se. We're now on the way to the safari track. But it's still plenty fun. The in-between parts are still plenty fun. Nintendo knows how to do an open world. They proved that with Breath of the Wild. You know, I've heard mixed things about the actual free roam mode. But there's no doubt that the world is expertly crafted. And the world makes the normal races so much better because everything feels connected. Everything is part of the same world. So whether you enjoy these in-between parts, which is what this is, as much or not, it gives incredible variety to the races. Oh. Apparently there's ways to avoid the blue shell now, but I don't know what they are. Hello, zebra. Here's the charge boost. I'll be honest, I've not perfected that at all. But you just hold the R button, which is the jump button, in a straight line while you're driving in a straight line, and you jump. And that's also how you do wall rides, but again, I've definitely not perfected that. Now we're on the actual track, the actual safari track. So it just gives a lot of variety, because you're not just doing 3 laps on the track, you're kind of doing a bunch of other stuff, but you're ending on an exciting part, you know, the track. I'm just smoking them right now. Sometimes they put up a pretty good fight on 150cc. I'm not particularly paying attention. But the water is just fantastic in this game overall. And I love the fact that they really did boat mechanics. Like, they really did boat physics. You don't just feel like you're a car. Well, I am a car now because that was shallow water. But when you're actually on the water, you don't feel like you're just a car. You feel like it's something different. It's a boat. Okay, the reason I didn't even mention the controls that whole time was because they were perfect. Absolutely perfect. But I will say again, if you only play Mario Kart World so far, the Joy-Con 2s that come with the system are more than good enough. I think when you need to pick up this Switch 2 Pro controller is when you start getting into stuff like Cyberpunk 2077, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, I imagine things like Street Fighter and even like Yakuza, your quote-unquote hardcore games that are a little more complex. Yeah. That being said, again, the Joy-Cons are far from a waste. They are super useful for multiplayer. For example, when you want to play more players with, what am I trying to say? More players with Mario Kart or something. Because each one of these can be its own controller, because this is all the buttons you need for Mario Kart. And they're more than good enough for that. More than good enough. It's not a sacrifice. And of course, for portable mode, they're an absolute godsend. They're fantastic. Oh, and the rumble, the HD rumble on these is fantastic. And you know what? I was so busy talking, I wasn't even thinking about, let's just play just a touch more so I can tell you about the rumble, because I did not do that. Let's just do a little Peach Beach. We'll just do a regular race where it's just 3 laps at Peach Beach. Although some of the regular tracks aren't just 3 laps. It's like 1 long lap sometimes. They're all different. There's just a lot of variety in how they do the tracks this time around. Alright, let's see. Some light rumbling there when I'm using the boost. A little rumble there when I'm getting tussled around. Let's go out here. You feel a little bit when you land in the water. Like, it's not gonna, in most games like this, it's not gonna just be constantly rumbling to just, because then it kind of means nothing. But it's definitely there. Like there, I felt it a lot when I got big. You know, I really need to figure out this wall ride. I'm just playing the game at this point. I'm not showing you anything you need to know. I can't help myself. I'll start playing this game. Yeah, the HD Rumble's definitely there. Let's see. Settings, controller. Oh, by the way, smart steering defaults to on, which I don't think it lets you run off the road or anything. So if you're, frankly, if you're an adult, I would turn that off. It's better with it off. Everything else is defaults to off. I don't see anything about vibration here, so I guess it just is what it is. But like in Cyberpunk, I think the vibration is more powerful, more intense. Anyways, I think that's enough. It's fantastic for driving games, fantastic for first-person shooter, fantastic for moving around. I'm pretty sure it's going to be fantastic for every single thing you throw at it. I don't know what else to tell you there. And it feels fantastic. It feels better than... Gosh, that's a big statement. Does it feel better than any controller I've ever used? Well, it's just an iteration. That's the thing. It's an iteration on the Pro controller, which was really an iteration on the Xbox, I guess, 360 controller originally, which itself was an iteration on multiple Nintendo controllers through the years. You know, and you got to throw the PlayStation in there too for doing the DualShock. You know, they didn't invent the analog stick, but I think they were the first to do the dual analog stick. So, yes, I think so. I think it's the best controller I've ever used. It's a small evolution on the Switch 1 Pro controller, but it just feels even better, which I think gives it enough to edge out over the Xbox controller, which I think for like standard hardcore gaming, I think it's kind of like about as good as it gets, you know? And this to me is this, but with better feeling sticks. So, and you also got the HD Rumble too, which is like a more sophisticated rumble, which you may or may not even care about that, but it is a feature. And crucially, it actually does have a headphone jack, so that's one serious flaw the first Pro controller had compared to this. And it's got an internal rechargeable battery that lasts roughly 40 hours, which to me is better than changing the batteries out on this thing all the time, which is probably also why it costs $84. That's where the extra cost comes in. They could have probably made it, say, 65 or 70 if they didn't include a battery pack. Anyways, I've rambled on. This video was super long, but as you've guessed, I just wanted a chance to talk about all this stuff some more. So there you go. We'll catch you next time on the Cardboard Cave.